עכשיו פורסים שוב ידיים, זה הכל מהכל. בעולם הגדול, כשעצומות העיניים, אז רואים את הכל. עולם שלם, עולם גדול, והנה הגענו עד הנה, בכל מה שנשאר רק לומר שחיינו, שבכל זאת אפשר, בכל מחר שמגיע הוא התחלה חדשה. והנה הגענו עד הנה, וכל מה שנשאר רק לומר שחיינו, שבכל זאת מחר אולי יביא איזה קסם, אולי יפתור חלומות. עכשיו פורסים את הלחם, הכל הופך שוב פשוט. בעולם הגדול, כל דמעה שחונקת מחליקה בגרון. עולם שלם, עולם גדול, והנה הגענו עד הנה, בכל מה שנשאר רק לומר שחיינו, שבכל זאת אפשר, בכל מחר שמגיע הוא התחלה חדשה. והנה הגענו עד הנה, בכל מה שנשאר רק לומר שחיינו, שבכל זאת מחר אולי יביא איזה קסם, אולי יפתור חלומות. שלם, עולם גדול, והנה הגענו עד הנה, בכל מה שנשאר רק לומר שחיינו, שבכל זאת אפשר, בכל מחר שמגיע הוא התחלה חדשה. עולם שלם, עולם גדול, זה הכל מהכל. עולם שלם, עולם גדול, הכל מהכל. עולם שלם, עולם גדול.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגין בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר צורי ולא הבלטה בו.
ידיד נפש ורחמן משוך עבדך אל רצונך ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל ישתחווה מול הדרך כי ירב לו ידידותך מנופץ ובכל טעם איי 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 שנה ועתיד עולם איי 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 איי
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. That was, the last artist you heard were Nava Tehillah. Before that, you heard some Beit Tfilah Yisraeli, the Israel Israeli minyan that meets probably earlier today, our time, this Shabbat, every Friday night on the near the beach. I believe that they are meeting again as things transition in Israel, as they are starting to do here. And before that, Idan Rachel. So if you're wondering why we're featuring Israeli artists this evening, it is because we are looking forward this Shabbat to Yom HaZikaron, the Remembrance Day for the fallen Israeli warriors, and Yom HaAtzmaut, the anniversary of Israel's independence. And Rabbi is going to talk a bit about both of those things this Friday evening. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's great to be here. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So, as Cantor Paul said, on this Shabbat, we will also weave a little bit in on Yom HaAtzmaut and Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Memorial Day and Independence Day, which bump right up against each other. So this Wednesday is Yom HaZikaron, starting Tuesday evening, and that is Israel's Memorial Day. And then starting Wednesday evening starts Yom HaAtzmaut, Independence Day. And in the Israeli consciousness, those two are deeply connected, and that is why they fall right next to each other, because Israel's independence depends on those who have fought to establish and to defend the state of Israel. This is a period of commemorations. I mentioned a little bit last week. We just observed Yom HaShoah this week, Israel Holocaust Memorial Day, and now we have these two other commemorations of Memorial Day and Israel Independence Day. Interesting how, in a sense, since 1948, the entire Jewish calendar for this time of year has been transformed. How different this period between Pesach and Shavuot would be and was prior to these modern events, which are so present in our Jewish consciousness, the Holocaust and the establishment of the state of Israel. And so today, much of the music that will be woven into our service this evening comes from Israel, and we'll incorporate some of that along the way. So we're going to begin with just Psalm 133, Hine Matov, and then after that I'll share the prayer book with you, and we'll continue with our service.
So here's a melody from BTI Beit Israeli. Oh, Sham, oh, Sham, oh, Sham, oh, Sham, Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Oh, how good, how beautiful it is for all of us to be together as one. Oh, Shah, oh, Shah, oh, Shah, oh, Shah, Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Sharing my Siddur with you. Adjust it on my screen. Here we go. As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirishanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
I'd like to once again welcome everybody who's with us as I'm watching names pop up and wishing each other Shabbat Shalom on our Facebook page. Want to wish all of you a Shabbat Shalom as well. And if any of you are visiting us today, aren't a regular part of the Temple Beth Israel community and would like to have somebody connect with you about our temple community, you can reach out to Judy Rose. She put a comment a couple minutes ago in the chat on our Facebook page, or reach out to the cantor and me after Shabbat, either one of us, rabbi@tbipomona.org or cantor@tbipomona.org, so that we can reach out to you and answer any questions and help connect you to our community. So we're going to continue now with Lecha Dodi. And as is our custom, we're going to take a moment to reflect on our week. Last Shabbat was still Pesach, still Passover, and we were, at least in the Reformed tradition, finishing up our last day of Passover on Shabbat. And to spend a moment on each day this week, starting with last Shabbat, on its challenges, on its blessings, to breathe a little, to release the week, to be present for Shabbat. Let's take a couple of moments for silent reflection. We will sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 for Lecha Dodi. It's customary when we get to verse 9 to turn toward the door, in this case, the door of your home, and symbolically welcome the Shabbat presence into your home and into your heart. Lecha Dodi.
So here's a melody from Navatihila in Yerushalayim. I'll start out with a little nigun, and then please join me from your homes. Lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echan, Hishmianu el hamyuchan, Adonai echan, Ushmo echan, L'shem u'tiferet, V'litchila. Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שדברי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We continue with Chatzi Kaddish. If you have a book at home, we're on page 26.
יתקדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא יפרח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביום אחד ובחיי לכל בן ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מדברה לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, כאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן.
Continue with Baruch Hu, our call to prayer. We ask you to rise in body or in spirit.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Adonai Hamdorah Leolam Leolam
Last three lines in the Hebrew.
El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'en, Baruch ata Adonai, Amariv, Aravi.
Amen. Hold on, I'm having some technical challenges here. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Ahavat olam Beit Israel Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Ukimu mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shakbeinu V'kumeinu Nasiach b'chuchecha V'nizmach l'divrei Toratecha U'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu Ve'orech yameinu V'hem negei yomam v'layla Ve'avatecha Al tasir mimenu le'olamim Ve'avatecha Al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch ata Adonai Oevamo Israel. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
We continue with Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu le'todafot bein einecha Uchtabtam al mezuzot beitecha ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Last Shabbat, we crossed through the sea and continued our journey into the wilderness. And this week and every day, when we sing Mi Chamocha, we think about all of the narrow places that we as individuals and as a people have come through. And we are grateful that we are still here and still creative and still being able to celebrate with one another. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh norati lot osei feleh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh norati lot osei feleh. מלכותך ובניך בוקע לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורתי lot עושה פלא. נורתי lot עושה פלא. נורתי lot עושה פלא. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We ask God to watch over us and to protect us as we go to sleep, to let us lie down with a sense of wholeness and peace and rise up with a sense of purpose each and every day.
השכיבנו יא אלוהינו לשלום. השכיבנו יא אלוהינו לשלום. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. השכיבנו יא אלוהינו לשלום. השכיבנו יא אלוהינו לשלום. השכיבנו יא אלוהינו לשלום. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום ועתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו, סוכת שלום עלינו, ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
Achad Ha'am, one of the great Zionist thinkers and who was the father, in a sense, of what became known as the school of cultural Zionism. Achad Ha'am once wrote, "More than the Jewish people has kept the Shabbat has kept the Jewish people." Shabbat has been something that has united Jews as a common element across time and across space. We celebrate it. We may observe Shabbat differently based on our religious outlook. But whether we're a secular Jew in Tel Aviv, a Reformed Jew in the United States, an Orthodox Jew in France, for all of us, Shabbat gives a sense of meaning and purpose to our lives and a rhythm to our week. We give thanks for the Shabbat. Join in singing Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברי עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברי עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברי עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברי עולם.
As we move into our Amidah, one of the things I was thinking about is in our Givurot prayer, which is the second prayer after our introduction here in this part of the service. We pray for dew, and prior to Passover, we were praying for rain. And what I was thinking about there is that even people who live in Australia today are praying for dew, and before Passover, we're praying for rain, even though they have opposite seasons. And the tradition really teaches that we're tied not to the seasons in the place that we live, but we're tied as Jews to the seasons in the land of Israel. And so we are praying for rain when it's rainy season in the land of Israel and dew when it's not the rainy season in the land of Israel. And our seasons here happen to correspond quite well, and even our climate corresponds quite well to Southern California and the land of Israel. But just to lots of ways in which our prayer book, our daily prayers are connected. Our Hashkivenu ends with peace over us and over Jerusalem. And here, just the weather patterns even connect us to the land of Israel. We, if you're able, we rise in body or in spirit for our Amidah.
Adonai, Sefatai Tifta, Ufiagi, Tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lima'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, B'chayei HaKol atah Rav leHoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, B'chayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'rofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umkayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Geburot, Umido Melah, Melech Memid Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman Atal HaChayot HaKol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Hu Shemo.
Ha'el HaKadosh.
Amen.
We take a few moments for silent prayer, for the text of your own heart, and then we will have a musical offering from Dr. Randy Polivoy.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, Dr. Polivoy.
Rabbi. And just a few words of explanation. The piece I'm going to play tonight is called Omrim Yeshna Eretz, or They Say There Is a Land. I chose this because it touches on the theme of Israel in honor of the upcoming Israeli holidays. And I have to confess, I was unfamiliar with this particular song before I played it. There seems to be a more popular setting of this song with music by, if any of you have heard of Naomi Shemer. I'm not going to do that one. This particular setting of the song has words by Shaul Chernikowski and music by Joel Engel, who both lived in Russia during the late 19th and early 20th century. And it's a rather lengthy song, so I'm going to give you just a partial translation. They say there is a land drenched with sun. Where is this land? Where is this sun? They say there is a land containing 7 pillars, 7 planets. Gazing over every hill, who will guide the way? Who will tell me the path? This is Omrim Yeshna Eretz by Chernikowski and Joel Engel. Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Great to have so many of you with us on this Shabbat. Again, thank you to Randy Polivoy for his beautiful musical offerings for our service. So the last few parshiot, Torah portions, recounted the 7-day preparation for the debut of the Mishkan, the tabernacle that the Israelites were building in the desert, including sacrifices and offerings for atonement for the sin of the golden calf. And all of it would be in place at the Mishkan prior to the final dedication on the 8th day. The 8th day would be the grand opening, featuring the installation of Aaron as the high priest and the arrival of the Shekhinah, of God's presence. So the rabbis asked the question, why the 8th day for the dedication? Why not the 9th day or the 12th day or the 7th day? There is a mystery in the 8th day of just about everything. Just one example, of course, we know that when a baby boy is born, his brit milah, his circumcision, is on the 8th day of life. Why not on the day of birth? Why not on the 5th day? And there are numerous other times throughout the Torah and Jewish history concerning the 8th day of things. Part of the answer, the sages tell us, rests at the very beginning of our Torah, in Parshat Bereshit, in the story of Genesis, with the events of the world's beginning on the 8th day of creation. What? Yes, God takes 6 days to create the universe. Then the God rests on the 7th day. Shabbat then becomes embedded in the very fabric of creation, and we're told over and over again to observe the Shabbat, to keep the Shabbat. But then our sages point to the alliance between God and humanity. In 6 days, God creates everything that was needed to be in place and set into motion all the forces necessary for the world to function. We really don't know what God did or didn't do on the 7th day, but generally felt that God took stock of all of it. And then on the 8th day, the Holy One of Blessing turned the universe over to humankind. The equivalent of, okay, it's your turn now. You have free will. Eventually, I'll give you some commandments with which your free will you are free to interpret and implement or ignore. You have a universe with everything you could possibly need to function, to fabricate the things for your needs, and to utilize as you may need them. What are you going to do with all of this? I can't wait to see what you come up with. And all of this becomes effective on the 8th day, after the creation, after the rest. It's now time for human agency. And so concerning our parashah this week, I believe that the message is that the dedication is a symbol of the partnership needed to create the holy. And the number repeats over and over in this portion: 8 garments for the high priest, 8 carrying poles, 8 kinds of incense, and so on. The priesthood would be inaugurated. The Holy One of Blessing would dwell among the people as a presence in the Mishkan. We are currently in the time of counting the Omer. We will count in just a little while in our service. We count beginning with Pesach, and then we count 49 days, 7 weeks. And Shavuot is on the 50th day, after we count 7 full weeks, and would be starting the 8th week. Then we stand at Sinai again, perhaps as a reminder that it's up to us to live out the covenant. It's up to us, to our agency, to bring healing and justice and compassion to the world. And so, in this week's Torah portion, we dedicate on the 8th day a holy place, to be reminded that holiness is not just in God's hands, it's in ours as well. May we all work, may we all endeavor to create lives of holiness and a world of holiness. Shabbat Shalom.
So I'm going to share Shir LaShalom, music by Yair Rosenblum, and Yaakov Rothblit wrote the text. And I share it not only in honor of Israel's upcoming Independence Day, but also as a song of memory and memorial, because it references sort of the both the synchronous nature of life in Israel, being constantly in states of challenges and seeking peace, but also that it's so connected with many of the seminal events in Israeli history, especially in more recent years, as it was the song sung by Yitzhak Rabin just before he was taken from us. So, I think Rabbi has the words up there, and I invite you to join in with your Tul HaShemesh la'alot, la'boker le'ha'ir, Hazaka shebatfilo, otanu lo tachzir. Mi asher kavanero, uve'afar nitman, v'chimar lo ya'iro, lo yachziro lechan. Ishotanu lo yashiv, mibot tachnit afel, kan lo ya'ilu lo, simchat hanetzakon, velo terak halel. Al ken rak shiru, shiret shalom, al tilchashu tfilah, mutav tashiru, shir shalom, b'tziach hagdola. Tul HaShemesh lachador, mibadad laprachim, al tabitu le'achor, hanichu lechol kim. So enayim betikva, lo derech havanon, shiru shir la'ahava, velo na'milchamot. Al tagidu lo yavo, havi'u et hayom, ki lo chalom hu v'achol hakikaro, hariu la shalom. Al ken rak shiru, shir shalom, atir chashu tfilah, mutav tashiru, shir shalom, b'tziach hagdola.
We turn our thoughts to all of those in our lives and in our community who are in need of healing of body, of mind, of spirit. And we hold them in our hearts, and feel free to mention names in the chat as well.
Yishaberach Lavoteinu Abraham Yitzchak veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, uYivarech v'Yiraper hacholim. El na'rifana la, el na'rifana lo.
We ask for blessings upon Rebecca Gilman, Bela Pasternak, Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Toback, Alicia Goldfarb, Paula Steinbach, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Gabrielle Silton, Pam Poliakoff, Connie Shapiro, Kathy Blumenfeld, Gloria Austin, Caitlin Antrim, Judith Bosworth, Kathy Brewster, Stephanie Holland, Jennifer Rudin, Susan Gruer, Charity Razorday, Ed Ansell, Marion Schneiders, Kimberly Zimmerman, Lori Snyder, Brad Holland, Isley Holland, Mike Klein, Beatrice Caden, Meg Silton, Henry Gerard, Kirby Perkins, Brenda Found Gerard, Serena Postal, Nancy Brewster, Bobby Kay, Bonnie Stead, Marilyn Freeman, Robert Strober, Ava Bespris, Marilyn Lubarsky, Joe Kummerman, Char Alpert, Carol Sage, Flo Cohen, Ira Quatcher, Ellery Einstein, Ken Mitchell, Patricia Kramer, Joey Kubel, Jeff Klein, Ed Portnoy, and Arnold Robb.
El Narifana, El Narifana La, El Narifana, El Narifana Lo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to count the Omer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer.
Hineni mukhan umzuman lekayem mitzvah aseh shel tzvirat haomer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer.
All praise to the Holy One of Blessing, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer.
Hayom shlosha asar yom shehem shavua echan v'shisha yamim la'omer.
Today, beginning tonight, is the 13th day, which is 1 week and 6 days of the Omer. And now, I'd like to invite Jay Eisenberg to share a few announcements with you.
Shabbat Shalom. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, Rabbi and Cantor, for leading us in tonight's service. Just a few upcoming events and a few things on the calendar. A lot of it you can read in This Week at TBI and on the website. But next Friday night, first Shabbat, we have the Brenda Rosenfeld Scholars Series, and it's going to be featuring Rabbi Moshe Walduks, who has wrote the big book of Jewish humor. Couple of other important things we have coming up is our online auction that we're doing for the second time. Unfortunately, we won't be able to be in the sanctuary again this year, but the online auction is going to run from May 17th until May 23rd. And the last night you'll be able to bid on items online, just like we did last year. And then we'll wrap it up on the last night. There will be a live auction via Zoom or whatever service we use. We'll have a chance to bid on a few items and you'll see what you won that night. Also, so you can mark down on your calendars and get ready, Thursday, May 27th is our annual congregational meeting again this year. It is going to be via Zoom. This is very important that we have quorum and we have at least one representative from each family, because we'll be voting on the Board of Trustees for next year, who's going to be servicing the temple and helping make important decisions. The board will also be presenting the annual budget for the preliminary budget for next year. And we have been working very hard, a group of people and the board, on updating our bylaws, and hopefully we'll be able to bring that to you also on May 27th, where the congregation will vote on the bylaws. More information on that to follow. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Just a reminder that we had, again, to look at your congregational email. The next time we gather is actually tomorrow night at 7:30 for Havdalah and counting the Omer and our Shema Hashivenu Siyum concluding prayers. And so we have Havdalah tomorrow night. And that's stuff, lots of good adult Jewish learning programs as well that have been going on. Anything you want to add, Cantor Paul?
I just want to remind everyone that the TBI preschool has been operating since last September. It is continuing operations into the summer and beyond, but we are looking for clearer indications of how many students we're going to have. So if you are connected, if you know, if you yourself may be considering enrolling your children in the TBI preschool, they do have to be under 5 years old generally, 5 and under. Please give Teacher Deborah a call this week or as soon as you can, so you can be assured not only that you can reserve a spot going forward, but that we can adequately plan staffing and the other logistics that go into running our fabulous preschool, which I'm sure you know that both Rabbi and my children are graduates of, and they're doing pretty good, actually. So that's all I have to share.
All right, thanks, Cantor Paul. We are going to move toward the end of our service now with Aleinu L'Shabeach. I'm going to share that with you. If you're in a position to do so, please rise. Otherwise, rise in body or in spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn to all of those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. We had a recent death that I shared by email, Temple member Jean Lambden. It'll be a private funeral on Sunday, and we'll be mentioning her name for the next 30 days as well. We remember Lynn Krinsky, Shirley Paniet's aunt of Harriet de Basilio, Gary Sachs, brother of Sharon Sachs Regalado, Irma Singer, aunt of Marilyn Lubarsky, Deanna Kaufman, wife of Isaac, mother of Amir, Erez, Ilan, and Oren. Remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Paul Dubinsky, Antonio Granja, Lily Milstein, Sophie Reiser, Mary Louise Sage, Charlotte Singer, Miriam Brown, David Joseph Goodman, Florence Landau, Harold Savage, Anna Ank, Sarah G. Brown, Lester Cook, Ida Dalvu Feynman, Martin Greenstein, Herman Cooperberg, Catherine Pramel, Barbara Toole, Donna Willard, Ann Cooper, Howard Herman, Rachella R. Horwitz, Frida Newman Modorsky, Nina Morecki, Tilly Richards, David Rosenberg, Eddie Shapiro, Roy Abrams, Morton S. Kaloff, Susan Hudson, Robert Levine, Sonia Liggett, Howard Schuman, Bronya Weiss, Cy Goldberg, Dave Greenbaum, Richard Levitt, Paul Levine, Charles Lubarsky, Eugene Watkins, Stanley Brody, Blanche Chavin, Michael Gilman, William Kelber, Joseph Wasserson, and Louis Hammer. We hold those names and all of those that have been mentioned in our chat and that we carry in our hearts, hold them as we say the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'alma divrach Yeruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayachon v'yomachon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shmei d'kudashah. Brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bin romav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen.
Amen.
Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. We're going to close our service with Hatikva and then Biyado, and then please stick around for Kiddush and Motzi.
Kolod balev penima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulfate mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia. O lovda tikvateinu, hatikva shnot apayim, liotam chovshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim, liotam chovshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Be'yado av kidduchi, ve'erishan ve'a'ira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo yira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo yira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Be'yado av kidduchi, be'nishan ve'a'ira, be'imruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo yira, ve'imruchi geviati, ולא יירא.
If you have a little juice or wine, you can get it so that you can join us in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon, inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh ha-shabbat. Chaim.
L'chaim. Little challah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us. And we hope you have a Shabbat of renewal and a Shabbat of peace. We'll see you soon. Lehitraot.
Shabbat shalom, lehitraot.